This is a story about how easily a soul can be sold for the illusion of comfort and the staggering price you have to pay to buy it back. I'll tell it to you as a man who has known both the stench of the gutter and the scent of the finest silk, and who finally realized there is no difference between them if you are locked in from the inside. It all started on a sweltering afternoon while I was scavenging through the trash outside a magnificent estate. I was just another nameless face on the street, my entire life measured by the number of empty bottles I could find. Suddenly, I heard a voice, sweet as a sin. "Hey, handsome." I looked up and nearly dropped my haul. On the balcony stood a woman, devilishly seductive, wearing nothing but a short silk robe that left very little to the imagination. "Want to come inside?" she asked with a predatory smile that took my breath away. I couldn't believe my ears. Who was I? And who was she? But when she let her robe fall to her feet right there in front of me, every doubt vanished. I ran to that door as if the devil himself were chasing me, never realizing I was running straight into his arms. An hour later, I stepped out of the shower, clean, shaven, feeling like a completely different man. She was waiting for me in the bedroom with a plate of fresh sushi. Everything felt like a fairy tale. The food was divine, the shower was fantastic, and the lady of the house herself was luring me to the bed. As I kissed her neck, I was in paradise. But for a split second, I felt something. Just for a heartbeat. It felt like it wasn't soft hands encircling my back, but old skeletal claws with long, sharp nails. I jerked my head up, but she was still there, the same young, radiant beauty. "I wish I could live here forever," I whispered, blinded by the glitter of luxury. "Eat sushi, wear expensive suits." She told me it was possible. The price? Just my freedom. But who needs freedom when you have all of this? I signed the contract without reading a single line. I truly believed it was the best day of my life. The sobriety of my choice hit me fast. When I tried to step outside just to grab my old belongings, I hit an invisible wall. I was trapped. She simply snapped her fingers, and suddenly I was wearing a high-end designer suit. Back then, I still smiled. I didn't care. I thought I could do whatever I wanted within these walls. But days bled into weeks, and weeks into years. Every day the same food, every day the same bed, every day the same woman. "Is this it? For eternity?" I asked one day. "For eternity," she replied with that same cold, mocking smirk. 3 years passed. The mirror in the bathroom showed me a man who had completely let himself go, despite the suit always looking brand new and pristine. I grew to loathe those clothes, that food, that house. I sat at the table in nothing but my underwear, pushing away the same plate of sushi I could no longer stand to look at. I wanted out. I screamed that I wanted to break the contract. That's when she showed me her true face. Her hand became old and hideous, tipped with the same claws I had glimpsed once before. "The price of breaking the contract is your life," she hissed, "or you find someone else to take your place." My chance arrived on a rainy evening. A woman knocked on the door with her young son. Their car had broken down, and her phone was dead. I let them in, and a manic plan immediately took root in my mind. Bingo, I thought, looking at the naive boy. I began my play. I showed him a PlayStation, promised him that in this house, he could have anything. Games, food, a life without school. "That's my dream," the boy shouted. I saw his mother hesitate, but the boy was already hooked. Late that night, while the mother was asleep, I sat with the child. I placed the contract in front of him. "Just put an X here," I whispered. and your dream comes true. You'll have to give up your freedom, but that's not a big deal, right? The boy already had the pen in his hand. He started telling me about their real dream, a trip around the world. How he and his mom wanted to see different countries so she wouldn't have to struggle with debts anymore. He was about to draw the line, and in that moment, something inside me snapped. I grabbed his hand. "No, stop," I yelled. "Never give up your freedom. It's the most precious treasure you have. Do you understand?" I saw the terror in his eyes, but I couldn't let him rot in this gilded cage. With tears in my eyes, I practically forced them out of the house. The next morning, she approached me. She looked genuinely surprised. "I didn't expect you to let them go," she said. "Are you really ready to give up your life for them?" I looked at the door where those people had disappeared. "I'm ready to trade my life for just one fleeting moment of freedom," I replied. She smiled, differently this time, and snapped her fingers. Suddenly, I was standing in the middle of the road. I was back in my old. I smelled of the street, but I was in heaven. I screamed with joy, breathing in the polluted city air that finally belonged to me again. Suddenly, there was a deafening horn. I turned around and saw a bus hurtling toward me. I didn't move. I didn't run. I simply closed my eyes and smiled. I was free. Finally, truly free.